not a good idea.
Well, welcome back, race fans. It's been a fantastic race, and we only have a few laps left before we name another winner in the Heavens Cup, the 700 Series.
Yes, sir, Jeff, this has been an exciting race. The track is still being cleared by our track team. We've been under a yellow caution flag for the last 5 laps. That little stunt that car number 666 pulled, dumping oil, gas, and thumbtacks all over the track, almost closed the race.
Well, the HCR officials have disqualified Black Cloud Racing from ever finishing the race.
That is good. Their underhanded cheating almost caused a number of drivers to crash. Most of the cars headed into the pits for new tires.
I hate to be biased, but I hope that they ban Black Cloud Racing from ever finishing and ever racing in the Heavens Cup again.
It looks like we're back in the race. The green flag has just been waved and the pace car has just pulled back into the pits. It won't take them long to get back up to speed.
And I hope they got all of those thumbtacks cleared off the track, otherwise we're going to have a bunch of other blowouts.
In my early days, I used to be a horse race announcer. Toothpaste was a long shot to win, but on the last turn, he got up to boy and girl, and who were neck and neck, but then he got squeezed along the rail.
Look at this, Gordon. The white flag has just been waved. That means we're like one more lap until the checker flag and the finish line.
Divine Racing has just called the driver into the pits. It seems they noticed some smoke coming from the engine.
Oh, that's too bad. The driver in the number 7 car for Divine Racing was just like seconds away from winning the next Heavens Cup. He'd be the next winner. Let's see if we can get a video link to see what's happening in the Divine Racing pit.
Hey Racer, you almost got this thing in the bag. One more lap and you'll have your name on it.
Look at this, Gordon. It's Snidely Mark. And I can't believe it. He's disguised as one of Divine Racing's pit crew. He pulled the racer in on a false pretense. I take it there was nothing wrong with his engine. Well, we'll see how it can see if we can get a word with the father and the champion of how this could happen.
Hey, can we get an audio feed to hear what Snidely is saying to Divine's racer?
I don't know, it's pretty loud down there on pit row and with all that engine thunder. Oh, there, I have an audio link. I can pick up his words.
I saw some smoke on your engine. Your engine may blow.
I was seconds away from winning and you called me in?
Listen, airhead. I know what's best. Besides, if you blow your engine, it would cost lots of money to fix it. Divine Racing is very concerned about the cost. We're trying to cut corners, you know. Save the equipment.
The father told me that he had unlimited resources to make sure that he had everything that was needed, everything was taken care of. I didn't need to be coming in.
Well, I noticed that you were looking a little sleepy.
Sleepy? I am pumped about racing this race and winning this race and crossing the finish line. There is no way I am sleepy.
Well, I thought that maybe you need a little boost, so I'm going to give you an energy drink. It's a booster.
Booster? That's more like a shooter. And you know, they do test all the racers when they cross the finish line to make sure there's no illegal substances in their blood system, you know.
Oh, just hold on a minute. Here's a glass of champagne. We can start the celebration early. You don't have to finish the race.
Quit messing with me. Of course I have to finish the race to be a champion and a winner in the Heavens Cup. I'm not quitting now when I am so close to winning, crossing the finish line. The sun is waving me back into the race. Hold on a minute. You're that Snidely Richard Ernest Mark character, disguised as part of Divine Racing. You sure had me fooled for a minute. I'm out of here.
Loser! You're nothing but a loser!
Who's calling who a loser? Did you see the light? Guess who?
Jeff, did you get all that on audio and video feed?
Sure did, Gordon. The racing officials will want to take a look at this video.
Hey, Snide. I have a hard time believing that you would stoop so low as to disguise yourself as one of Divine's racing crew. But then I shouldn't be surprised. Your master disguises himself as an angel of light, but is full of deceit and darkness. I have just instructed my chief pit crew, HS, to contact our racer so that he can finish the race and be the winner of this Heaven's Cup. The HCR officials are giving a grace period for my driver because of your deceit. I told you, Snidely, Richard Ernest Mark, that I am watching you. Always watching you. It looks like my driver is going to be on the cup, and you, Snidely, will be cast out.
I'm not so sure how well this plan was thought through.
Well, Divine Racing with their driver is back at the wheel.
He's just past the leader coming out of this last turn. Divine Racing is in the lead.
Keep focused. Don't give up now. Keep your eyes on the goal. You've almost reached the finish line.
Hey, have you ever been in a race? You're lining up in anticipation, and when the gun goes off, you start to run your best. Well, let's just say that the race that you're running in is 10 laps long. And you started out strong, but somewhere in the race, you forgot about how many laps you had run. How many times have you passed the starting line? How many times have you seen those same smiling faces in the crowd cheering you on? Is this the 7th lap or is this the 8th lap? You can't remember. And as you're coming around the corner, you see all the people standing up in the stands and they're waving at you. You start to slow down, but they're saying go forward, but in all the emotion and the noise of it, you can't hear what they're saying. You can't understand what they're saying. And then you see it. The official of the race is waving the white flag. Just before the race started, the race official says, these are some of the rules. When the gun goes off, it's like the green flag, you're going to go. And when you see the white flag being waved, it means you have one more lap to run. And when you hit the ribbon, it's like getting the checkered flag. Before you saw the white flag, you were exhausted. And your muscles were starting to cramp up and you were so thirsty. But when you saw the white flag, it was like a second burst of energy. And you started to run well again. Pretty soon, you had passed the others who were tired out. And before you knew it, you were out front. Amazing! Suddenly, as you come around the last turn of the track, you think to yourself, this would not be a good time to quit. People in the bleachers are standing and they're cheering you on. Unbelievable! You're now in the front of the pack. In auto racing, the drivers race their cars. They battle the speeds, their nerves are on edge. They have some near misses and they count down the laps. If they maintain their lead throughout the entire race, the white flag is a welcome sight. It means you have one more lap. You are in your final lap. All they have to do is concentrate on their driving. When you come into that corner, make sure you have the right line. When you come out of the bank, make sure you don't oversteer. Just concentrate. You know what? There have been a lot of races that have been lost in the last lap. The driver starts to think about the trophy and the glory of winning. And just in a moment of being distracted, not concentrating on his driving, somebody else passes him. Yeah, when he comes out of those laps, or when he comes out of those turns, the drivers behind them, they're going to be pushing their limit because they want to pass him. He just has to concentrate for this one last lap as the official is waving the white flag. All the people in the stands are now standing and they're cheering and they're hoping that their favorite team will win. Dipstick, he wasn't paying attention to how much fuel was being pumped into his car. After locking the pump in place, he got distracted as he read the paper. All he needed to do was pay attention while he was pumping the gas. But because of his inattention, man, there was an explosion and he almost cut his life's journey short. Snidely, he tried to convince the driver of the number 7 car to pull off even though the white flag had been waved, meaning there was only one more lap. What was his reasoning? He said, let's start celebrating now. You don't have to finish the race. I love the response of driver number 7. She said, of course I have to finish the race if I want to win. You see, God has called us to race with Him. Wow, we start strong. We took the challenge to resist the devil and all of his temptations that would lead us to sin. We overcame the obstacles. We overcame the hurts and the disappointments. Now God is waving the white flag. You've come this far. This is not the time to give up. We don't know when our journey for God will end, but we are racing for the finish line right now. We're almost there. Think of all that you have faced in serving God. Can you imagine giving up, being so close to the finish line? Think of all that you've overcome in being a follower of Jesus. Is now the time to throw in the towel? Imagine you're just a few feet away from the finish line. You have run so well. Would you now sit down before you come to the finish line? Of course not. If you have troubles, now's not the time to quit. If someone makes fun of you, now's not the time to quit. If your disappointments are huge, think of the great rewards that God is offering to you, that if you finish well and if you finish strong. If you're sick, now's not the time to give up. I tell you, it will not last forever. Oh, the best. Yeah, the best is yet to come. Oh, the world seems to be in a mess, with anger and fighting and loneliness and hopelessness all around. More than ever, now is the time to keep trusting God. He has not lost control. The grandstand of heaven is crowded with all kinds of people cheering you on. People like your family and your friends who love Jesus. And God has announced, He says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily would trip us up. And let us run this race with endurance, the race that God has set before us. How do we do it? We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion, who initiates and who perfects our faith. That announcement is found in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. I am well aware that the race that you're enduring may not be easy. But when you realize how close you have come, how much closer you are now to the finish line than when you first started, listen to what God says. Once more, he makes this announcement. He says, so, take a new grip with your tired hands and strengthen your weak knees. Mark a straight path for your feet so that those who are weak and lame will not fall, but become strong. Hebrews 12, verse 12. In other words, God is saying, yeah, you may be a little bit exhausted. Yeah, you may be a little bit tired, but strengthen and keep going because it's almost over. The white flag is being waved. It's almost time for the celebration. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. You know what? That's Galatians 6 and 9. God sees you coming. And he's waving the white flag. He's already smiling in anticipation of your win. Just one more lap. Just a few more steps. Just a few more days. Boom. The jumbo screen of heaven is lighting up. The camera is focused on you as you're running your last lap. The finish line is lined with all kinds of people. You may feel faint and you may feel exhausted,